So I want to respond to, and it's taken me a couple of days to kind of get my thoughts together around what it means to have professional etiquette at holiday parties. And I completely understand how some of our younger professionals who have had less of the stigma around culture and race and have not had maybe as many experiences in corporate settings or understanding the context, the cultural context of corporate settings. So the young man was responding to a video of this gentleman who we've all recently found who was talking about the Balsam Hill Christmas tree, or that's how I found him. And he was at a holiday party where he said it was an open bar and he was drinking a club soda, that he had bills to pay, do not play with him. And I totally, as a Gen Xer in my mid 40s, understand what he meant to a T. I also have bills to pay and have so much to lose when it comes to my corporate career by not putting myself or my family in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form by outdoing myself at a party. Then I saw another young gentleman that I follow, who I think is also in corporate settings. However, young brother who is really just kind of saying how he can bet the bar, right? So I want to talk about those two dichotomies, right? Or just understanding what I know to be true about holiday parties. Your job is on the line. You are still at work, even if it is a social setting. And I say that because I really want people to understand it. What I have learned about young professionals is that you guys seem to have this idea that you're going to meet your best friends at work, or you're going to have your best relationships with people at work. And I think the older generations, or my generation, where my mom was the only Black woman in her department, and I say that to you as in 2025, actually, now I'm not the only Black woman in my department, but I had been for a very, very long time. And I always made the joke that I was the diversity hire, even though I know for a full-fledged fact, I know more than some of those folks do about what it is to be in digital, understanding digital marketing, digital content management, et cetera, my skill set. However, what I want you guys to understand is that it is not your job to go to those parties and try to beat the bartender. It is not your job to go to those parties and try to outdrink your boss, outdrink your coworkers. It is not your job to go stand on anybody's furniture, take anything that is your clothing off, or act like a damn fool. And the reason I say that is because I worked at a content marketing agency probably about over a decade ago, and I was actually in Boston at a work function, actually for training. I was there for the week, and I literally opened up my Outlook, and the day that my first day, I got an email that was a corporate company-wide email that went out explaining to everybody that they needed to be on their best behavior when it came to the holiday party, which was supposed to be happening that night. So my first week, my first impression is of our leader telling everyone not to overindulge at the party, because last year somebody left in an ambulance. Let me be very, very clear to you. That is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to that party, get the food, glad hand with some people, get an opportunity to meet somebody that you don't necessarily know, network across, over, up and around and through, and then get your ass out of there. And I do mean that in the nicest way possible. I understand that people want to be friends and find friendships in the workplace, but I'm going to tell you that that can either go really, really well or really, really poorly. And so the truth of the matter is that yes, most white folks really want to get to know you in a social setting. And what I did for a very long time, and it has served me well, is to really talk more about them. Ask them about their work, about the stuff that they're interested in, the stuff that they do after work, the stuff that they're excited about, the stuff that they've got going on, what it is in their different seasons. There have been different seasons in my career where I had young children, or middle school children, or high school children / Now I have college and grown children. And so my conversations are very, very different. But I want you to be very, very clear. I'm not telling everybody everything. And I had a friend tell me this once before. She was like, the people you work with know that you work there, and it sounds crazy, but they don't think that you make what they make. So even if you're having these conversations about the places you go, the things you do, the travels you have, all this other kind of stuff, you do not want to put yourself in any sort of position where someone is thinking, what is exactly they got going on? I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds crazy. I know everybody thinks that it seems different, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry. It's better to be safe than to be sorry that somebody else said something, did something, you said something that could jeopardize your career, life, and livelihood, and potentially the livelihood of your family. So I hope that helps.